this is Nikki and I'm here to share the messages that I get from Spirit. And so what I just wanted to share is, just as I was coming to do this message, there were two songs on the radio. The first was Craig David, and Craig David sings a song called Nothing Is, I'm just going to show you because I just Googled it. The song is Nothing Like This. And he does that a duet with Blonde. Blonde is the name of my dog. And yes, and so many connections, but somebody said her twin had posted a picture of him walking in the woods with a dog like mine. The other thing is that when I look to it, look at this. Craig David's other songs are Craig David, he was born to do it, featuring the singles Walking Away and his number one, Following My Intuition. The song straight after this, remember that DC to CD, basically Craig David is the mirror of DC, Divine Counterpart. The song straight after this, as I was coming to the message, was Mirrors by Justin Timberlake. Now, the reason why I've chosen this picture is because I actually did meet up with my twin yesterday. And so, just shows you how not to jump to conclusions, because yesterday I thought he was going to bail on me. Anyway, it turns out that he has to have he was going to the physio or the surgeon to go and see for his shoulder because he had a ski accident a long time ago, and it turns out he's got to have a shoulder replacement. And so what I can basically, so he has to have a shoulder replacement for a start. And the second thing is that I've just listened to Sherry from NFCG Tarot, and her energy read is very accurate, because I definitely sense that in Sherry's energy read, it's about them being pulled back into situations and things, and so I can definitely confirm that for me. Whereas before, when I last met my twin, he hadn't been drinking, and he's basically been into the gym loads. Well, I can now say that he's been drinking again. And the other thing is that this sense about being open to creativity. He's doing an upholstery course, and he's going to be exhibiting in a sort of fair. Right where I go, where basically right near where I live. And so there were a few things that he said, though, that were spot on to all of the messages that we've been getting. So he starts talking about the port and starboard on a boat and starts telling me the reason why it's called port and starboard and something to do with New York and all this stuff. Then he said that he's using real horsehair for the chairs that he's making, and made a point of saying about the horsehair. And so if you've been following these messages, then all of the messages have been about that the horses are going to win the race, basically. And I did a healing for a lady, and she won 3 horses in a row. Two were about the 2 horse names were about love, and then the third was Believe It. So I was like, and so the other thing is that in terms of that heart opening and feeling that the heart chakra is more open, I can again vouch for that as well. First thing is he's wearing a green t-shirt, and the second thing is normally when we go to say goodbye, when we say hello, he's kind of very reserved and doesn't like to, like when someone's quite stiff when they give a hug. Anyway, he'd had a few drinks, but he was much different. So, and when I felt that hug, I felt the heart connection really, really strongly. So strongly that I can still feel it now. And, he actually came back for I think we hugged 3 times. And I could see that each time, I could feel it get stronger each time. So it was significant because I could feel the pull of when he was hugging me, and he kind of hugged me really tight in as well, which you never would normally do. Normally he kind of steers away from any sort of touch, because I think he finds it I used to give him electric shocks, And so he used to stay well away from me because I think the energy was very intense. Whereas now it's much more. We didn't give each other electric shocks, put it that way. But I did have this really intense heart pull feeling, and but yes, I can definitely say that they have kind of sort of being pulled back into those energies of feeling attached to things, and they were letting that they were he was definitely trying to get out of it, but now he's kind of, I'd say, entrenched back into it again. But those things around, I can still see that definitely heart opening shift, right? I felt it in the heart chakra really strongly, and I felt it from him as well, because he kind of looked, you could see it in his face. He was a bit like, oh, what was that? Kind of thing. So, interesting. And the other thing is that, so about grounding this energy, right? I've just noticed about grounding that love energy, because what it showed me again was that we are really grounding this love energy, and what the union will be like when you do come together, because it was such a powerful feeling, and it really did totally make me I could feel it really strongly. So it just made me think, wow, how amazing it's going to be when we're all sort of coming together in union in the physical, and the power of what that love can do will be quite amazing. So it was lovely. So on one sense it was obviously sad to see that he's drinking and, kind of he wasn't in a good place, because he's got to have, he didn't like the idea of having his shoulder redone. He's got to have an operation. But the other thing about that is somebody on the crystal grid sent me an X-ray of their shoulder, because when they had the X-ray done, there were twin pins in it. And the surgeon made a point of saying, oh, look, you've got twin pins. Or there was something about the twin in her shoulder. And so, again, it just made me think, when he told me that he had to have a shoulder operation and he's got to go back for all of his MRI or something next week, he's going to have all his X-rays. I was thinking, I wonder whether he gets a twin pin in his X-ray or something. So very, very, so basically just loads of confirmations about the messages that we've been getting through from their higher selves. He was talking all about the boat, talking about port and starboard, talking about New York, talking about the horsehair. He's expanded, working on his creativity, which has been coming through a lot in the readings. And the other thing is physical, basically having to deal with physical stuff, right? But yeah, I'd say if your twin is fighting addictions, then that's something that they still have. It's an ongoing thing, right? But the heart opening was much stronger. So the other thing that the reason why I picked this picture was because in somebody's healing that I did for them, I saw them as finger puppets. And so when I was looking for the picture because I had in my head, love conquers all. And when I looked for the picture and this was it, I was like, oh, no way. That's so brilliant. Because, again, it's so unusual. I've seen this in someone's healing. And then this is the picture that, comes, and it's got the heart in the middle. Because, the two songs this morning was, the first one was Nothing Like This with Craig David, which is DC, Divine Counterpart. The very next song was Mirror by Justin Timberlake. And then this first song that somebody sent me this morning was Prince, and it is You're the Most Beautiful Girl in the World. And so, and so that's the message for today, that they think you are the most beautiful girl in the world. The other thing about, being, I was saying yesterday about stuff that, that they would say to just really, trigger you, or to put you into kind of a tailspin. So the last few times that I've met with my twin spirit is always saying that he wants to have children, and I'm like, well, I'm 43, so this union has to happen kind of soon, but if we're gonna have kids. And you know, I'm 43, so I'm like, if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. I'm just happy to go around the world with my twin. But so yesterday again, because I was babysitting for my friend's children, and I met him afterwards, and again he was like, oh well, it's enough to. So he basically always says that he hates kids, and that he doesn't want to have them. But of course, there was. But of course, I know that that's different. That's not true. I think that's his karmic relationship he's in at the moment. That his kind of, I can, because you can just sense when it's not really them talking, you know. And actually, before he said that one of the things that he regrets is that he doesn't have a family and children. So I knew that that isn't really the case, but he still said it. So that's the thing. I'm kind of curious to see how it all pans out as well, because he's very adamant about it and kind of saying, oh, I hate them. And I was like, what? Why would you say that? I mean, they're the future they're the future. You can't hate children. That's just silly. And so, and, you know, obviously I would love to have children with him. And so that's very different for me. I've never really felt that with anyone apart from with him, which is very unusual. And so, I don't know how all this is going to pan out. That's the thing. So, but one thing I can definitely say is this heart chakra opening. I definitely felt that, without a doubt. And the last thing he said to me was about the horsehair. So, the horses do win the race, and love does conquer all. I can definitely confirm that. And the song is, what he wants you to know, or they want you to know, is that you are the most beautiful girl in the world, and there is nothing like this, because you are their divine mirror. There you go. What a beautiful message from the first 3 songs this morning. All right, I hope that helps. Take care. Bye.